If you attend Montgomery Blair High School, chances are you've heard of Sankofa. Sankofa is a celebration of Black history, and it is Blair High School's annual celebration of Black History Month. This year and last year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Sankofa was unfortunately moved virtually, after years of being a live performance at Blair. Even though Sankofa was moved online for the past 2 years, Blair was still able to create something special for Black History Month. Let's hear what some Sankofa performers and directors had to say about Sankofa 2022.
My name is Mireya King. I'm in 10th grade and I was a poet for Sankofa.
I'm Geo Rivera. I'm a senior and I was one of 2 senior directors.
Sankofa is a symbol that means look back, move forward. So it's really trying to look back at our history as African Americans and also move forward and make progress as we show our history and also show how far we've come.
This is my 4th Sankofa, and Sankofa to me was like a life changer. I always knew that I wanted to go into the arts some way or somehow, but as a Hispanic person, I always struggled to find representative art. So like a lot of times, like especially in the school building, we do Shakespeare and stuff, and it's like historically, Shakespeare has been like a very Eurocentric type thing. All the actors have been white, and like when I was able to do something like Sankofa, which then bridged to allow us to do Voces Unidas, which was the Hispanic Heritage Month show, we kind of saw like for the first time a show centered around POC voices, and it was strictly POC voices. You know, it wasn't like trying to please a white audience or anything. And that kind of showed me that there was a place for me in the industry. So after Sankofa, I decided that I was going to pursue it as like a lifetime goal and like go to school for it. And now I'm going to college for performing arts. So Sankofa did that.
That's great.
I would say that Blair has done a good job with our events like Sankofa. Sankofa has a lot of participants and it really brings together the Black community at Blair.
A lot of times schools, not just Blair, will do like a week of Black history or play music by Black artists over the intercom and then just call it a day. But I think there needs to be more things than just Sankofa. Sankofa does play a huge role, but like those are the type of things we should be doing because Sankofa creates some sort of cultural impact. But you playing a song over the intercom don't do nothing, you know? So like we need and now that we have the BSU and all those different things, like now I feel like we're taking steps forward, but for a long time I felt like we were like pretty static.
Yeah. My piece was White Privilege by Kyla Lacey. I liked the piece and I definitely have a complicated relationship with white privilege because I have a lot of privilege as a mixed person and as like my socioeconomic status and my education. I have a lot of privilege. And so I feel like the piece was good for me because it's an important issue that I feel like people fail to recognize a lot of the time. They don't recognize their white privilege, and it's easy to forget how often it comes up. And even when there's privilege in other cases, there's always just that race barrier that has such a big effect on how you're treated in the world. I do wish that this year we would have been able to do it in person.
It was just like a more minimal version of Sankofa. In previous years of Sankofa, like we've had to be at school till like 8 p.m. every single day dancing basically. And the whole point of it was to refine every single moment of the show. And Sankofa usually has like a storyline that webs everything together. And unfortunately, due to the pandemic, since it was pre-recorded and it was daily episodes, we didn't necessarily get to do that. There wasn't like an overarching story or anything. And we didn't even get to have that many actors on stage or dancers, so.
I feel like there was a lack of community this year because of the fact that it was online and we weren't able to spend as much time together and have the experience of getting ready for the performance, the nervousness and all of that. It just wasn't the same, and it was definitely more of a solo journey to get prepared and to perform, and just recording it was kind of sad. We just like left after recording it and then there was no closure really.
When you're working with an adult, you may not connect on like, you know, like mental health issues that you're going through or like how you rehearse and all those things. So having one-on-one time with like all the singers, I was able to kind of break them out of their shell, because a lot of people, like when it comes to singing, you have like, you're very angsty towards it. But as we got to like bond closer together, we got that like Sankofa type feel. And I don't know, it was just, we spent a lot of time getting to know each other and getting comfortable with each other, because that's when you start producing like the best art.
We only had meetings like maybe 5 times, and it definitely had a barrier in like the level of performance that I was able to do. I wish I had more time to practice with the group and get feedback, because I feel like my poem could have even been more impactful. And
but we still tried to get in those rehearsals to get people like at least the underclassmen prepared for the future years of Sankofa.
There was a different pressure level, because usually when you're in front of a crowd, there's this pressure to do everything perfect. And I even messed up like my first time recording, and then the student director, she reminded me, like, imagine that you're performing this live in front of the crowd. And then it really got me back into my focus and reminded me that I have to do it good, like do my best and try my best to just move over those mistakes. And I was definitely nervous, because it's kind of uncomfortable to just be on the stage with the spotlight on you, just with one camera and one mic. And but after getting into my flow, it definitely calmed my nerves, and I was, in the end, pretty proud of what I performed.
I don't know if, I think Sankofa like is like just like a special thing, you know. It's so, any form it takes is just so beautiful and so educational for like audiences outside of the Black community, and for the Black community it can sometimes be healing. So I wouldn't say there's anything to change Sankofa, but I do love seeing like new generations and new takes on it, because it starts off as like a club. Then Miss Rourke, I don't know if y'all know her, she did it while she was at Blair. And then Miss Ellie and Miss Adamson, who used to work here, Miss Ellie still does, they retook it and they created a new form of it, which is the one that we know best of now. And now Mr. Culver and Miss Davis are doing it, which is like this virtual version of it. So as student leaders are becoming more prominent in it. So as future years come, I'm excited to see like where it goes, because the creativity that this building has is like out of pocket.
I'll definitely do it next year, and I hope that we can be in person next year. And I think if you have the opportunity to come in person, it's a really outstanding show, and everyone works really hard on it. So definitely attend and watch the performances from this year.